Hello. I woke up this morning and for some reason decided to start this vlog like an old school blues song. Yay. Yay me. But I woke up relatively early and I was proud of myself. That yay, start of the more controlled lifestyle or schedule. Then I ate breakfast, passed out again, and once again woke up too late what comes to tackling the day with full force. So here we are again. Then I went out to do some shopping. So we have something to eat for dinner tomorrow. And since I'm the main cook of the household, it gets a bit difficult sometimes because the food has to be gluten-free, no milk, no pork, no fish, no nuts of any kind, because of the allergies and intolerances in the family. And well, that's basically normal. I think there are allergies and different things in every family. Someone's lactose intolerant or something. But when you have that much things you have to look and avoid, it can get a bit repetitive. So it's always a test trying to come up with something that doesn't cause this not this again effect. But anyways, I like cooking. My wife, not that much. And at the same time, I'm getting a bit frustrated with myself. Because, well, this is kind of a specified thing. But if you have a member in your family with ADHD, you know that there are days when that person just can't turn off. That person is on all the time with every single setting and dial set to max. So going, talking. And that's only if you don't have ADHD yourself. I can tell you that what you're seeing is not the full picture, because you don't know what's happening here. And as an ADHD adult, I have a pretty good idea what's going on in here. What you're seeing is not everything. What you're seeing is a person who's constantly on the move, who's constantly talking, who's constantly doing things, shifting from one thing to another. And that's what you can see, but it gets a bit more difficult if you could see inside of the head of that person. And then you would understand better why that person is frustrated, if that state goes on and on. And I've had days like that. Well, obviously I'm almost in my 40s, so I know what days like that are like. When you have this day when you just can't turn yourself off. You're on all the time. But I've been in that state for months. Few months now. And at first it was like, okay, one of these days. Then that day turned into a week. And I was getting a bit aggravated with myself. That week turned into a month. And I was getting frustrated. And now, over 2 months later, that frustration has turned into something that I could just call something like silent exception, or silently accepting the fact. And I don't know why, because I've had some longer periods when I'm constantly this kind of a semi-manic. And the members of my family can't really see that. They can see glimpses when I'm just doing something, constantly talking. But they don't know the turmoil that's going on up here. And it's not madness. It's not that I need a stronger medication or a padded cell. It's just that you're constantly going. And that can be dangerous when talking about adults and teenagers with ADHD. Because, and I know this from experience, when you're constantly feeling strongly, when you're constantly something strong, something like pressure inside of you, you're trying to find something from the outside world that could match that kind of a tidal wave of emotions and feelings, or emotions and sense feelings. Because in many cases people with ADHD have one or more sense that's kind of a stronger than what is considered to be normal. It can be hearing, it can be touching, something like that. So it's very easy to start trying to find something that can match that feeling that you're feeling inside from the outside world. And in some cases, and sadly in quite a few cases, especially with younger people, it's drugs, or it's alcohol, or it's gambling, or something like that. Because you know that feeling when you're playing, let's say that you're playing a video game and you're passionate about it, and then you get into that final boss battle and you win. You know that feeling. Obviously, if you are a gamer, you know that feeling. Or if you're playing, if you're a soccer player, for example, you have that someone passes you the ball and that it's that perfect pass and you score. You know that feeling. Well, take that feeling and turn it upside down. It'll become a void, kind of a pressurized void. And that's the feeling that the person with ADHD is trying to fill. So he or she needs that fix of something. It can be, gambling online, or those machines that you can find from for example, in Finland, in almost every grocery store there's a gaming machine. You can put coins into it and trying to win, and you can put a lot of money into those things. But when you finally win something that's kind of bigger amount, you don't think about the money you've put in. You're only thinking about those coins that are crashing down from the machine, and that noise, and that's But now when you're constantly trying to find that kind of same sensation, it can get dangerous. And I know that through experience. I've had my own problems in the past. When I was, you can say a bit over dramatically, when I was young and stupid, I had my own experiences. But the thing with ADHD is that when you grow older, people seem to think that it goes away. It's something that children and younger people have. But when you grow up, it'll disappear. It won't disappear. It only changes its appearance. Only form changes. The symptoms change. Children are running around constantly. Children with ADHD are hyperactive. Most. Some are the complete opposite. Mostly girls. When this kind of a hyperactivation doesn't show as a hyperactivity, but a hypoactivity. I think that's the right word to say it. So they're quieter, calmer. But when you grow up, it changes into this. It turns more into an inside thing. It's something that you feel, and to people outside you, it'll come up as being kind of lazy, careless, not being able to decide, not being able to take care of your household, your money, bills. And I feel fortunate that I have a wife that's willing to take care of those things for me. I mean, I'm the one who's trying to earn money, and she's the one paying the bills and making sure that our budget holds. Although there are times when I'm doing my best to crash the whole thing down, but yay. Because if I would be the one who taking care of our finances, we would have been bankrupt long ago. Long ago. And for some people don't understand that. Because they've said to me multiple times that why is your wife taking care of your businesses? Are you a child? No, but in this context you're an idiot. Because there are people who are just not able to do something. And if they have someone that can do it for them in order to keep things rolling, that's not a sign of weakness, in my opinion. That's a sign of intelligence. If you realize and see yourself that I can't do this, and you find someone who can, and it works out like that. So it's the same thing with some parents who are saying to their children, mostly boys, that big kids don't cry. And that child is something like, let's say 5 years old. You've heard it yourself. It's been said to you, or you have seen someone telling their children, big boys don't cry. And that's kind of a society thing, because crying is not a sense of weakness. It's a sense of humanity. Or it's a sign of humanity. Crying is not a sign of weakness. Crying is something we do as living beings to express our emotions. And I've avoided what comes to my own daughter. I've never said that to her. Because denying feelings, forcing to bottle those feelings, that's not good in a long run. And there are adults who are doing that constantly. They don't allow themselves to feel or express kind of a negative emotions because of image, for example. If you are in a, let's say in a business world, you can't really show negative emotions because it's bad for business, obviously. Or you can be, let's say, a mother of a bit larger family. You're just bottling because you don't want to show those negative feelings to your children. You want to be a good parent, and same applies to fathers, of course. You want to be a good parent. But then things get into that point where everything just explodes. And because those feelings have been bottled for a long time, years in some cases, even decades, things just erupt. Which one is worse? Venting a bit every once in a while, I mean in a good way, venting once in a while, or bottling things up and just waiting them to. Which one is better if you look that thing through the eyes of a child? Kind of a child-parent relationship. Which is better? Which is less dramatic? You have to be able to express both negative and positive emotions and feelings. But since there are still way too many people in our society and in our social system who are thinking that being negative, saying something negative, is a bad thing. Well, it depends, because you can say something that's negative in a way that's still positive. I don't remember the right word for it in English, but still you can say, or you can bring out negative feelings in a constructive manner. That was what I was looking for. But I think it's time for me to eat. And after that, I don't know. It returns. Long-time viewers will remember this. This is my vlogging lamp. It's a bicycle lamp hooked to a small tripod. And then you screw this to your camera, point it to yourself, and there's some baking paper to kind of dissolve the light a bit so it's not that harsh. But this is one way to go if you want to vlog outdoors when it's dark outside, although it might look a bit odd when you're walking like this and talking to a camera that's here. But it works. It works. While the camera was charging, I spent a good hour, I think, getting familiar with the current daily vlog scene. How's daily vlog lying in 2019? And I don't think that translates very good, lying. I think that's a phrase also in English. How things are lying. How things are going is the accurate term. What comes to daily vlogging 2019. And when I first got into daily vlogs as a viewer and as a creator myself more than 6 years ago, and obviously some of my memories are being silver lined by time, so remember that. It was about sharing your thoughts and your lives with your viewers, and obviously there were channels like Shaitards back then that were more about, it was more like a business, but I'm talking about channels that had something like 20,000 subscribers max, so smaller channels. It was more about sharing your thoughts, sharing your life. And at first it took me a while to find channels to watch, because from many of those videos the picture you got from too many videos, in my opinion, back then already, that some of these people are doing things just so they can film them, so they were living for their vlog. And it was kind of hard to find channels to watch, because that wasn't something I wanted. I didn't want something that's scripted and planned out, because that's, for me, that's not what vlogging is about. Obviously you can do vlogs with a script and so forth, and that's one way to do them, but that wasn't the way I was looking for. So it took me a while to find channels, and actually I still remember, and this is kind of a sugar-coated maybe, there was a day when I was browsing through channels trying to find a daily vlog channel to follow, because it interested me as a format of vlogging, doing videos every day about basically nothing. So I was browsing through the search feed, and all of a sudden I found a video where this bearded guy with a bandana was talking about the audio problems of his system. And I watched a few more of the videos from that channel, and that was what I was looking for. And well, actually from that channel I also got kind of my own way of doing, because I've been criticizing people who are making copycat videos from someone else's videos, if you can catch my drift. I mean that when you're watching a certain people's videos, if you are familiar with the vlogging scene, it's quite easy to pinpoint what are the influences of that particular content creator. And I kind of found my influence that day. And but it was raw. It was about everyday life. It was about things that happen or about things that doesn't happen. It wasn't planned out, it wasn't scripted, it was just, if a good day is a good day, bad day is a bad day, a meh day is a meh day. And I've been a subscriber ever since when it comes to that channel. And when the channel momentarily went silent, I was kind of, I don't know, well, saying that broken-hearted is too strong of a word, but I really felt it, because when you're watching something, it doesn't matter if it's a vlog or a TV show, let's say Bold and Beautiful or something like that. If you keep watching it year after year, you get emotionally attached to the people on that show or on that vlog. And that was kind of a, no, it's gone. And I made a video back then, although I think it's unlisted, but still. But that was kind of my main influence. Do what you do in your everyday life, but don't do things just to film them. Just document what happens. And that's the way I've been doing these vlogs for years now. And some people have found my videos interesting. Some people have said that this is the most boring content you can imagine. Well, again, that it's about personal preference. But I remember years ago when I first started getting into daily vlogging as a viewer and as a creator, people were talking to their iPhones, or they were talking to their relatively cheap handheld camera, compact cameras. And then things started to evolve or devolve, however you want to put it, where it became more scripted, more thought out thing. And that's when I lost my interest towards quite a few of the channels I originally followed, because it became so focused onto the viewer. I mean, they weren't living their life while documenting it. They were living their life for the vlog in order to get more viewers, in order to get more subscribers. And well, obviously, if you want to make it on YouTube, that's something you kind of have to do in some point. In some point, things turn around a bit, and it's not that much about you anymore. It's about your channel, it's about your viewers, because in some cases that YouTube channel became their main source of income for those people. So they kind of forced themselves into a at point a very small corner in the sense of what they can do on their channel. So they were kind of on the mercy of their channel. They weren't in control anymore. But obviously, if that's your main source of income and you want to do it as your main source of income, you have to think the business side of things at some point, because YouTube is not the most stable form of income, or social media in general. If you have a regular job, you know what your pay is going to be in the end of the month. But if you're doing social media, for example Twitch, your income varies from month to month because of different amount of subscribers, different amount of donations or whatever. So it started turning into this more thought out thing in some cases. And then all of a sudden you found channels that had something like 4,000 subscribers, and they were selling merch. Think about this. A daily vlogging channel with 4,000 subscribers selling merchandise. And those were videos about everyday life with some scripted elements. And my first reaction was, what the hell? Because that's not the way I think of YouTube. Obviously, if you want to make an income, well, there are certain things you have to do, even if you don't want to. But the idea of that, okay, I'm going to big on YouTube, let's put out some merch, doesn't work. Same thing with Twitch. I mean, eBay is the burial ground of broken dreams. If you think about it, what comes to Twitch? If you go to eBay, you see quite a lot of mixing boards, webcams, computer parts, green screens, and well, obviously not all of them are from the burial or funeral of some Twitch stream or some YouTube stream or some mixer stream or whatever, but quite a big portion is because people see these other streamers who make it. Yes, they're making an income, they have a lot of viewers. I want a piece of that, so they'll buy all the gear that they think is necessary, and then they are streaming with their kind of $4,000 system, wondering why I only have 2 viewers. So it's not all that easy, and well, booby streamers are a whole nother chapter, but let's not go into that because we all know how that scene lies, or how that scene is going. But for some, social media is an income, and it's not all that stable necessarily, or in most cases it's not that stable. But now I sidetracked once again. But what comes to vlogging or daily vlogging, the trend seems to be, and now I'm not talking about those big daily channels. For example, when Casey Neistat was still doing daily vlogs, I think he stopped at one point. I don't know the current situation, but back then when he was doing, those were planned out before uploading, I mean the editing. And Casey lives kind of an interesting life, in the sense that there's always something going on. You know, meetings, he travels quite a bit, you know, he meets people, goes around places. And that's interesting, and that's kind of easy. Well, that's easy mode of vlogging, because you constantly have something to vlog about, naturally. I mean, it's a natural thing, you constantly have something. Same thing with what comes to current channels, let's say like Fun for Louis. He's going around places. So it's once again, it's easy to pick those things you want to upload and put it out, and it looks interesting because it's something you don't see every day. But now when we're talking about channels like mine, my life is interesting to me, but it's in a very kind of small scale happiness, small scale excitement. It's everyday adventures, if you can put it that way, inside of my own head or what comes to the outside world. And that's something some people don't really want to watch. It's not. There was a time when daily vlogs were kind of popular on YouTube, but nowadays not so much, unless you have that a life that looks interesting to others. But if you're just talking to a camera, filming your everyday life, and well, in my case, I made a decision years ago that I'm not filming my family because they are not part of this thing. I don't want to cause any trouble for them because there are always idiots around. But this vlog is all about my thoughts. It's all about me. So it's kind of hard to make things interesting in a way that would appeal to larger audience. And I'm in a happy situation where I never even thought about an audience. I mean, when this channel broke 100 followers, I was like, God damn! And when my Finnish channel started to get some more traction, I was like, God damn! Although that channel has, what, something, a bit over 4,000 subs, but still, followers, but still, for me, 100 followers was a big thing, and it still is. And every comment I get is a big thing. Because I never tried to achieve anything big with this. So there's no reason for me to be bitter or unhappy about the way things are. But then there are those people who watch some popular streamers or some popular vloggers, and they want to get a piece of it because it looks easy. Obviously, just turn on the camera and start talking, or press start from your OBS and just start streaming. It's easy. Well, that's the easy part and the hard part of both YouTube and streaming. Anybody can do it. Anybody can try. It's all. There's no obstacles. If you have for example, what comes to vlogs, if you have something to film with, and you have access to the internet, and you have a Google account, that's all you need. But what does it take to make it in this kind of a how should I put this? If you want to get noticed on a bigger scale, and if you want to get into kind of a bigger circles of things, that's a matter of chance. I mean, you can have the best vlog in the world, you can have the best stream in the world what comes to quality, but if there's no personality, and if you don't get that lucky chance, that first initial getting noticed phase, things won't go anywhere. And that's when some people get bitter and frustrated. And for example, I've seen streamers who have started mocking their viewers because there are less viewers today than there were during the last stream, and that's ridiculous. I mean, there are hundreds of people watching you, and you're bursting out from frustration in public in front of those viewers who have came because in your mind, in your opinion, there aren't enough viewers right now. That's a sign of an asshole. Same thing with vlogs. Every once in a while you see people well, first of all, there are quite a lot of people who are sorry, who are saying, I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded anything during the last few days. No, you shouldn't be sorry. Well, you can always mention that I haven't uploaded anything because I have other things in life. But people who are sorry because they can't upload something, and they're saying it to their viewers, I'm sorry that there haven't been anything for the last few days. So what? Move on. Upload another video. You don't have to be sorry if you're not uploading anything, obviously. But if you're planning to get out for a longer period of time, obviously it's always polite to inform people that you're going to take a break. It's always polite. And that's something I haven't done too many times. I have these long breaks, but to me it's natural, so I don't really even think about informing people, and that's kind of my own mistake, if you want to put it that way. And now I'm sidetracked once again. It's funny when you're thinking in Finnish, you're real-time translated to English, and then you're trying to speak it out in English. I'm constantly sidetracking because I'm thinking with one language, translating it to another language, and then trying to talk it out at the same time. But yeah, you shouldn't be frustrated to those who are willing to give the time. It doesn't matter if you're a streamer, if you are a YouTuber, or if anything. If someone shows up, that should be a victory. But obviously, I do understand that when your income is dependent on it, and in some cases, or actually quite a few cases, what I just talked about before, it's about money. Those people have, well, in some cases drop out from school because they want to be Ninja 2.0, or they have quit their job because they want to be a YouTuber or a streamer or whatever. There's a financial pressure that starts to kick in pretty quickly if you don't have that kind of a basic following already. If you don't have enough followers, it'll start nagging you pretty quickly, or the situation starts kind of a slowly biting you. When it's about money, it's about income, it's about survival. And that's why I've never monetized anything. I mean, yes, I'm an affiliate on Twitch, and that was kind of the only thing that I did. And I actually asked my viewers if I should take that, and people said yes, so there wasn't anything for me to lose in that situation. But what comes to YouTube, I've never monetized anything, because I don't want this thing to be about money. I want this thing to be about me talking to a camera, and through camera and interwebs and screens, headphones, whatever, to the viewers, to those handful of people who are willing to listen. And every single one of them who is willing to spend their time, or give me some time from their day to listen to what I have to say, even if it's not much, that's a victory for me. That's the thing that it should be about. But obviously, if you're doing this, if you're trying to make YouTube and Twitch as an income, the pressure rises immediately. If you don't have that basic following already, that you're able to support yourself and your family. It's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing. It's, well, obviously these are the jobs of the future, or actually they were jobs of the future less than 10 years ago, but now it's reality. People are making their income through social media, and that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. It can be a good thing in a way that you're offering something to others, and it can be a bad thing, well, example, in a form of some Instagram models. Those pictures are highly photoshopped, and then people are looking at those pictures thinking, why don't I look like that? Why don't I have that life? So at the same time, it's a fair play. Anybody can do it, and if you have what it takes to make it, you'll make it with hard work and dedication. But then there is that dark side. Like in everything in life, there are always at least two sides what comes to every story. In some cases it's cotton candy, in some cases it's pure, add the word of choice here, might be a bit dark, but not too dark, I hope. And well, going back to what I said before, one small thing to add. Personally, I think I've self-sabotaged, pronunciation please, my own channel since the beginning with free-form content in a form of not editing myself what comes to subject matter, what comes to video length, because the attention span of the internet used to be 5 minutes. I think these days it's even less, and probably I could edit these videos down to, let's say, 15 minutes max, but I don't want to. It's kind of a well, you could call it a perversion of one sort or another. Just rambling and uploading these half an hour or more videos in length. But I don't see the purpose, because you can't, well, this is a monologue that I'm doing now, but you can't really edit a conversation, if we put it that way. You can't edit something that's going on between two people. And over the years I've developed this kind of an attitude that I'm not even talking to a camera anymore. What I'm imagining is that I'm talking to one person who's sitting in front of his or her computer or with a phone, and I'm talking to that person. So I think I've made progress with that, because when I first started vlogging I was talking to a camera, I was talking to a camera lens. But now I'm not even thinking about the camera. The camera is something that's necessary for doing this thing, but I'm not talking to a camera. And probably that's why in some videos I am, when thinking about it later, a bit too straightforward when it comes to, for example, subject matter. But that's because I'm talking to a person, not to a camera. I'm not thinking about editing. I'm not thinking about censoring myself in post-edit or in post-production, whatever that is in my case. Just trim the ends and beginnings of each clip and then upload it as it is. And I think that's, in some sense, that's a form of passion, but that's one sign of passion. Not thinking about your equipment, not thinking about your gear. And if you're talking, don't talk to your gear. Don't think about technicalities of things. Talk to the people. Spread your bullshit to the masses, as one of my all-time favorite vloggers once said about his own videos. Sadly, he's not making videos anymore, but still. Why are we all about vlogging today? Simple answer, because that's something I've been thinking about quite a bit during the last few years, and even more during the last few months. From my own perspective as a viewer and as a content creator. I really don't like the word content creator. It sounds so official, but let's go with it. Because Finnish YouTube, in the state that it is today, the most channels are for teenagers and young adults, by teenagers and young adults. Most of the content creators are young, so obviously they are making videos for their general age groups. And there are very, very few more mature people on Finnish YouTube that I would like to watch, or that I like to watch. It's all about, well, it's mostly, if you're trying to find, more mature people from Finnish YouTube, it's mainly about being a political foil hat person, or it's about being a complete hillbilly asshole. I'm trying to find more mature people who can actually speak in a way that appeals to me. There really aren't any. It's mostly about politics and this kind of a low-life hillbilly way of life, if you start digging in. So it's not that because Finnish YouTubers are bad. It's because I don't belong to their target audience. I'm too old for that. Obviously I'm interested about certain things that are going on, because I want to know what are the hot topics, the spiciest memes of the day, Well, reason being that I'm a father of a preteen, and I'm very interested about social media on a psychological and cultural level. But actually watching through those kind of a makeup videos, or what's in my handbag, or let's try who can stay awake for longest, or can I eat this 25,000 calorie pizza or something like that, I'm not interested about that. I mean, it's cool to watch when someone eats a pizza that's meant for 6 people. It's always cool to watch. But if you try to find something challenging, something mentally challenging and engaging from that, nada, no, niet. And kind of an international YouTube has always been my spiritual home, so to say. I started on international YouTube and then from there gravitated towards Finnish YouTube. And since this is, I think, the 6th or 7th video in a row, so this is starting to form into a daily vlog, I think. And that's something I've been thinking, starting again on this channel what comes to daily vlogs. But when I was thinking about it just a few minutes before I grabbed the camera, I remembered why I originally stopped making videos in English. The lack of proper vocabulary, and obviously I do know the words, but I don't remember those words because I'm constantly translating in real time. So it wasn't good enough for me. It may have been good enough for you if you are a long-time viewer on this channel. You might look at the older vlogs and go, well, this is okay, but it didn't felt okay for me. And now I'm starting daily vlogs again now in English. I would have to face those kind of the same barriers, that I want to say something but I can't find the right words. If I would script these videos or plan these videos out, no problem. But while translating and thinking in real time using 2 different languages, trying to make sure that my pronunciation is even somewhat there, that was a nightmare back then. It may not look like that, but it was a nightmare. So that's why it was so easy for me to switch to Finnish, because I was able to express myself fully. But doing daily vlogs again using English, let's say that the idea is very appealing to me, but at the same time, would it last? Because I don't like to start something and stop shortly after. I hate it. And that's why many daily vlogs will crash pretty shortly after they have started. Because there is this, it's a new thing. And it was very easy to see back then, and it's still easy to see now when people are saying that they are starting to make daily vlogs. Well, they are into it for, let's say, a month. After that, they'll start missing some days. And after, let's say, within 2 months, they quit. And I don't like that. Obviously, it's their choice, but I don't like that with myself. I don't want to start something and then stop when the story, the arc, is unfinished. That's why I said years ago that I'd be daily vlogging for 5 years, and I did that, although most of those videos are in my personal archives. But still, I made daily videos for 5 years, every single day. And that's why I'm running out of backups, hard drive space. I don't have enough room for backups anymore. Well, my backup hard drives are almost full. And I think I can squeeze something like maybe 6 months if I'm compressing the those videos that are archived, those versions that are archived, hardly enough, maybe 6 months. And it's appealing. It's appealing, but once again, I don't know if it would last. And obviously, if it lasts, then there are my Finnish viewers who are disappointed because I've switched from Finnish to English. But although I'm grateful for those people who are actually subbing or who are actually following my Finnish channel because of the content I'm making, this YouTube thing has always been more about, well, it has never been about followers, subscribers, likes, comments. It's about, or it has been about building bridges. And every single comment is a bridge. For example, every single interaction is a bridge. But someone following the channel has never been something big. And that's kind of what some people use as a measurement of a popularity of a channel. This channel has this and this many subs, or followers, it must be a big channel. Well, only a small fraction of those followers are actually watching the videos they're putting out. Is that popularity? Is that success? That's X amount of people have pressed or clicked the follow button, and then they forget the whole channel. That's not popularity. That's not building bridges. For me, let's say that I would have this imaginary channel with 10 followers, and if 8 or 6 of those 10 people watches my videos, for me then I've built 8 bridges. It's about connecting people. Vlogging is about connecting. It's not about being popular. Popular is something that getting popular is a side effect. But if you're popular and if you can't build bridges between you and your followers, then you're kind of you're speaking in the wind, if that makes any sense. Being popular is not about numbers, it's about interactions. And this is a silent channel, this is a quiet channel. The only person who have commented during the last 6 days has been Skasius. So, and that's one bridge. And considering that these videos have been watched something like 20 times, one person who reacts out of 20, that's a lot. That's a lot, in my opinion. But then when you have, let's say, 10,000 subscribers, and if you filter out all the first or fuck off dude comments, there are actually very little comments that have any kind of value. But that's again one side of social media. You can't comment even if you don't have anything to say, and you can blog even if you don't have anything to say. But that's something that I don't want to end up with. I don't want to end up with, let's say, thousands of subs with only portion of those viewers interacting with the channel. So that's why coming back to this channel, or moving back to this channel completely, it sounds very appealing to me. Because as I said, it's about building bridges. It's not about numbers. Camera died. Winter is my favorite season of the year, but if you have to do anything that involves batteries outdoors during winter months, it can be a hassle. But anyways, final rant of the video. I just watched a video, and people were accusing the person running the channel that there's auto-tune and there's singing on the channel and there's auto-tune being used. And this explanation slash defending why I use auto-tune video was hilarious, because the reasons that were being given didn't make any sense. The rule of thumb what comes to pitch correction, in my opinion, is that if you can't sing it live, don't use pitch correction in order to give the impression that you can do it live. Because when you do sing live, people will kind of notice the difference. Well, auto-tune can be used as an effect. For example, if you take Believe by Cher. Although I don't think that was an auto-tune, I think that was some kind of a pitch bend trick they did. But what comes to auto-tune as a tool, well, nowadays we have comping, we have Melodyne, which is in most cases the better option. But auto-tune, well, on the other hand, who am I to blame? If we look at the pop music that's been released during the last 20 years, the music has became so dehumanized that I don't blame artists and music producers anymore, even when they're using auto-tune, because of the listeners. People have been brainwashed into this perfect pitch. And if you take a look at the Eagles, for example, the harmony machine of their time, and nowadays if you play the music to someone who's not familiar with the Eagles, they're saying that, well, this is kind of nice, but they're singing out of tune. No, they're not. That's called natural harmonies. Well, that is what harmonies sang in the same space with a group of people sounds like. But the modern music production, I've talked about it in the past, and I could rant about it for a good few hours if I want to, but let's not. So I think the day is done. So, see ya.